Welcome to round two of Aero League Racing Tier 2. Last time out, we were at Lago Maggiore, where we saw CMP23 put in a dominant display to put himself around 10 points clear of Chrissy. Since then, some new developments have occurred, and CMP23 will be promoted to Tier 1, where he will be racing for the remainder of the season. Obviously, just improved a little bit too much compared to the rest of the Tier 2 grid after his placement races. But in terms of the championship standings, with CMP leaving, that does leave Chrissy as the current leader of the championship. He will be followed by Owen Williams, Sir Hims, and Payan rounding out the top four. In terms of Blue Moon Bay, this is the qualifying grid for the sprint race. We have LAX and Jack on pole, followed by Payan. Smells a Funk in P3, with Deserbo, who I don't believe raced in the first race. Obviously, he couldn't get a spot, and he's put it on P4 for his debut ALR race. Owen Williams in P5, followed by Woozy, DDK, Chrissy, championship leader, all the way down in P8, followed by Ross Thorn. Tap Shooter in P10, followed by Mighty Mini Smiley, another debutant. Sir Hims down in P12, followed by Andy, Nobbles, BO2603, and Reno King rounding out the grid in his Ferrari. Anyway, it's time to begin the sprint race. I will be here for commentary. Apologies that this one is a little bit delayed. Let me just turn down my headset audio because that is crazy loud for me. It looks like it's a pretty good start from Smells of Funk and also from P7. I think that's DDK. Is Smells of Funk going to go down the inside of Jack here? It looks like he's already got past Payan, and yes, he has. Really nice move there. LAX and Jack going for the cutback here in his Nissan GTR. This race was done pre-update, so I believe Jack's in the 2013 GTR. Obviously, I might be wrong there, with a big slide on for both the two race leaders, dropping Smells of Funk down to P4, it looks like, with Payan getting back up into the top three. Owen's made a really good start up from around P6 kind of area up to P2. Chrissy as well, making up several positions. Those two will probably be the two favourites for the title now, considering CMP has left. But it looks like a very solid opening lap for Jack, as he makes a big mistake there into the hairpin. Looks like there's one driver who's a little bit far off the back. They might have had an incident on lap one. You can really abuse this final corner, cut as much as you want. Jack hasn't done that. Gone a bit wide on entry, which will put him under pressure from Owen. Owen is in the Lancer Evo, so he should have enough straight line speed to catch up to Jack here. I think Jack's actually in the 2018 GTR, it looks like. I should have probably caught up with this beforehand, shouldn't I? Let's see if Owen makes a move down the inside. He's not going to make the move. He's going to go for the bump draft instead and look at getting a switch back further back behind. You can see this top four really starting to pull away a little bit now as we go into the infield sector 2 now. A really satisfying section of track if you can get this right. Owen going purple, of course, but it is lap number 2. Everyone taking really nice lines through there. These four line astern. It looks like Chrissy's actually catching up a little bit here. Payan going for a move on Owen. He's going to have to brake really late to get a move done around the outside, or go for a switch back, but that's not going to happen with Smells of Funk on his inside. And a little bit of contact there between the two drivers, which actually enables Chrissy to get all the way up to P3. A fantastic start from the Austrian driver. Let's stay on board with these three here, as it looks like they've dropped back into the rest of the pack with that little incident between Payan and Smells of Funk. I don't believe that one was reported. Obviously this is a post commentary, so I will be able to get you guys the steward results if there is any incidents. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to make a move here. Payan going really wide there. Is he going to hold on to P4? It doesn't look like he will here. Smells of Funk has the inside line, which is the favourable line into this corner. Easy gets the move done there. And he's actually going to lose 2, maybe 3 positions here in back-to-back corners. Ross Thorn gets the move done, and DDK is looking for a move as well. DDK has been a very underperformer so far in the first week. I know a lot of people tipped him as the championship favourite. Deserbo going very wide in the background there. But yeah, he was very mediocre, to say the least. Payan with that beautiful livery, racing awareness for the Turkey Earthquake. Obviously sadly for his compatriots. Not sure whereabouts he lives in Turkey, but thankfully he was safe. As he's in the slipstream here, going for another bug trap on Rostorm. Let's go and look at the front guys here. LAX and Jack taking a pretty sizable lead over Owen there. Chrissy looks like he's closing the gap on Owen as well. He is, with slightly quicker laps. Smells of funk. Just about hanging on to these guys, and then the train starts. Trolley Train of Rostorm, followed by Payan, DDK, Tap Shooter, Deserver down in P9, followed by BO2603, our tier 3 runner-up from the previous season. Sir Hims down here in P11, under pressure from Mighty Mini Smiley, with Nobbles down in P13, Andy Winters, Woozy, and Reno King far back, rounding off the end of the grid. I was going to say, it looks like a move has been done here, but it hasn't. This is, wow, this is 3 wide here in this hairpin. Very, very tight and very difficult to get it done there. Let's see if anyone can get a really good exit. You want to brake early, cut this corner as much as you can, and nobody's really doing it. There is a lot more time to be gained there if they can get that one right. It's a very awkward corner because you sort of have to turn in before you'd expect to. And it can gain you a lot of time on this exit if you want. Something that I really struggle with, that corner, actually, the exit. Doesn't look like there's going to be any moves down here. I think DDK is the closest to the car ahead, but he is in a McLaren. He's not going to be catching the Jag. Actually, the Jag is close to the Nissan by the end of the straight, which just shows how good that Jaguar is on power. Speaking of Jags, DDK's in a little bit of a Jag sandwich here. No, he's not, as he moves himself up to P6. Tap Shooter as well, getting the move done on his teammate with Dzerbo, looking for a move. Let's go on board with him as he's in slipstream and playing. This is his first on-camera action, on-board camera action. Goes for a move down the inside, gets it stopped. Payan taking a very narrow line there, sort of cutting across Dzerbo. But they get through it just about. Bit of oversteer there on the exit from the Italian, which will probably make it him far too far back here to get a move done on Payan, unless Payan makes a mistake, but it doesn't. That's the case. I think I heard BO absolutely clattering the wall there in the background. As we go on board with Tap Shooter, who, well, he has this move done, doesn't he? Tap Shooter, a guy who, I'll be honest, there was talks about demoting him to tier 3 before the season started, but he was very, very motivated and very insistent on the fact about staying in tier 2, and boy has he backed it up so far this season, sort of performing around the upper midfield in this race, and I feel like he was a similar speed last week at Lago Maggiore. So really good to see a driver that's put a lot of work in off season as the plane flies overhead there. Decent first sector with a 19.0. He'd probably be aiming to get that down to an 18.8, 18.7 kind of window on the soft tyres, and that's when he'll be sort of challenging for the leaders in terms of pace. It looks like Chrissy is still gaining on Owen and Jack slightly here. Very consistent laps with the high 106s. That's very solid pace for tier 2. Definitely not going to be close enough there. Let's go back further down the grid, see if anything else is happening down here. It doesn't look like any moves are going to be done again, unless Payan can get close enough to DDK, because we've established that the McLaren doesn't have the straight line speed of some of these other cars around here. You can see these guys lapping around a second slower than the race leaders, and as expected, Payan was the one to attempt to move, which is just insane considering how far back he was. But that Jaguar does have the grunt that the McLaren doesn't. Really good battle in here. Payan with some good defensive driving. Dzerbo right on the back of DDK as well. Doesn't look like there's going to be any more moves there. I really do like that livery for the McLaren team. I do like the BMW livery as well. I don't think we've seen that so far this season, but Dzerbo looking like a really, really good driver in this midfield. Payan going very wide there up ahead yet again, probably trying to get a switchback and a cutback on his teammate, but I don't think that's going to work for him, because this is the corner where you need the good exit, not the one where he was trying to sort of open it up for himself. It looks like the field is starting to separate a little bit here as Payan sets his best lap of the race so far, braking very late there compared to his teammate. Might hamper his exit if he can't get the car quite slowed down in time, and I tell you what, this track is absolutely incredible for wheel-to-wheel racing. The track is very wide and very short. As we have a spin up ahead from PC, I think that it smells of funk. Should we go take a look what happened to him? It looks like he's just binned it completely on his own accord here. Let's have a look. Yeah, goes wide, touches the grass on 2 right tyres, doesn't come off the power, and that will send you round every day of the week. That's going to drop him well down because of how close this grid here is. He's probably going to come out behind the end of this pack, maybe just ahead of 1 car. That's a bit of a dangerous rejoin there. Surprised didn't get a complaint, and there once again, Andy luckily able to avoid him. A bit of dodgy driving there, and it might have caused this incident up ahead actually with Nobbles spinning. And let's have a look on Deservo's perspective at this battle here. 4 cars separated by about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. Deservo really struggling with that corner there. Probably would recommend him shifting up into 3rd a bit earlier if he's struggling so much with the exit speed in 2nd. As you can see, he absolutely nails that corner exit there. Needs to try to get ahead of the McLaren so he can tuck back into slipstream, which he's able to do. Doesn't look like he'll quite have the grunt to get alongside Payan, but you can see P4 up there not far ahead, so a top 4 finish isn't out of the question for Deservo. Potentially would have been there if DDK caught the rear end of the BMW driver, but he just managed to avoid him. Anyway, let's go take a look at the leader. LIX and Jack has been driving very well so far. 1 mistake on lap 8, and apart from that, he's been driving consistently in the 106s. Similar to Owen and Chrissy as well, I'd assume. Sort of 106s is the pace that I'd expect a winner to have in this tier. But it does look like his front right is going off. As you can see, the understeer he gets through there. Headwind into him down the straight now, so the top speed won't be quite as good, and the slipstream will be even more effective. As you can see, there's quite a few cars pretty close by in P5. There's a little bit of a train there, so there might be some moves happening down there. It does look like his tyres are starting to go off a little bit. I assume Owens are a bit better. They are in the Lancer Evo. That's what I was expecting. You can see he's driving a lot smoother as well, sort of driving within his limits to keep some energy within his tyres, which maybe will come back to help him out as we get closer towards the end of this race. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure who's going to win this one. I think it's going to be very close between these 2 guys. I think track advantage is very useful between Jack, but I think Owen's tyre life will give him the win here, to be honest. And Chrissy has actually damaged his tyres a lot more than I expected. The Porsche is normally known to be pretty good in its tyres, but that doesn't look like it's the case in this situation. Let's have a look on board with Owen, see if he can get the move done here. We've got 4 minutes left of the session, which means probably 4 more laps. I don't think that, yeah, they won't get a 5th lap in. Is this going to be the time where Owen can move himself up? He's not using the slipstream there on Jack, I'm not sure why. And you can see he's actually losing out now because he didn't hop into the slipstream. Looks like Deservo's managed to get past DDK, and here we go, up the inside from Owen, and easily able to get the move done on Jack. Jack's going for the switchback, it looks like, but that's a bit of a half-hearted attempt. With how worn his tyres are, he is never going to get alongside there. This mid-pack is starting to spread out a little bit. It looks like we've got a battle happening over here, P10 and P11. Not quite. Oh, Nobbles very squirrely under braking there. We just caught that, unfortunately for him. And it looks like Reno is close to being lapped here. Just not quite on the pace today. Obviously a wild off a beautiful drift though. Never mind, not a beautiful drift. He didn't manage to catch it. And you can see here how close these cars are behind. Owen's got past Jack. Wait, no, we watched Owen get past Jack, didn't we? My bad. I was going to rewind it and try and figure out where that happened, but yeah, it did happen. We did watch it. This is where you'll see the stranded Reno King on the right hand side. Looks like he's parked over on the left now. Just waiting for the leaders to come past. Wonder if he'll still be there when P4 comes past. He is. It looks like he's just going to park it there and leave it there for the rest of the race. See the guys starting to spread out a little bit. It looks like DDK's got past Deservo at some point. Let's go back to this battle for P12 and P13. It's not going to be for any points. Obviously only the top 10 score points in the sprint race. But there's a bit of a lull elsewhere, not really any more battles going on that I can see. Is Nobbles able to get the move done? It looks like he will be, but Woo's going to go for the switchback here, as it's proved so successful for other drivers in the past in this race, but not quite for Woozy, just carrying a little bit too much speed throughout the race there. Oh, throughout the corner, sorry. Tell you what, things are hotting up a little bit here. We got Chrissy right on the back of LAX and Jack. And a very close battle over here as well, so it looks like we might be getting a few more battles before the end of the race here. Another battle going on here with Payan and Tap. And a three-way battle as well for P8, I think it is. One more lap after this one. It looks like it's only going to be 14 laps for these drivers, I believe. Some of them might actually get an extra lap in. But that's surprising, because I believe in the Tier 1 race, most of the field got an extra lap in. Tap Shooter still ahead of his teammate here, Payan. The lap times are really dropping off here. You can see Tap Shooter's front right tyre is absolutely dead. Is Payan's dead as well? It is, so these drivers are both driving on dead tyres. This is the final lap of the race, so some of the field will be coming across the line to end their race right now. Let's go ahead and take a look quickly with Andy in P9, DDK P10, followed by Smells of Funk, Nobbles, Woozy, Mighty Mini Smiley, and Sir Hims will be outside the points. And Reno King will come across in last. But in terms of the race victory, it looks like that is all done, but we do have a battle going on here. Payan gets punted by his teammate, and Rostorm's going to take advantage to get P5. He's going to try and get P4 as well. We've got Owen is going to come across the line in P1. It looks like he's gone around the final corner perfectly fine, and LAX and Jack as well ahead of Chris, but we've got to stay on this battle, don't we? Payan up to P5. I think Tap Shooter might have let him pass, but he's hit the wall. Tap Shooter's going to get this. He's across before they've even got halfway across the line, and it finishes P4 Rostorm, P5 Tap Shooter, P6 Payan. Here's the top three that we mentioned before, and that's where they came across the line. Deservo in P7, followed by BO2603, and what a sprint race. Next up, we're going to have the feature race, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with the points.